look back through history, across all different cultures and countries, one thing has always been true. The families who own land and property, they have the most stability, wealth, and opportunity. Whether you're ready now or just starting your journey, we're here to walk with you every step of the way. Hi everyone, welcome back to the Purchase Path by Azcension Homes. My name is Des Losberg and I'm here to help guide you along the way on your path to home ownership. Now today's episode is something very special. It might be a little boring for some, but there's a lot of good lessons within it. Today we're going to take a step back in time and we're going to talk about the history of home ownership and why owning a home and buying a home isn't just about having four walls and a roof. It's about family legacy. So if you look back through history, across all different cultures and countries, one thing has always been true. The families who own land and property, they have the most stability, wealth, and opportunity. And that gets passed down to their future generations. And today, I want to share a little bit of history about homeownership. We'll talk about some relatable stories and why it doesn't just impact you, but it impacts your future family. So let's get started. Now, for thousands of years, land and property ownership defined wealth. It defined stability. And in ancient civilizations, Rome, Greece, even early America, those who owned land were the ones with political power and security. It meant independence. It meant dignity. And now, if you fast forward to the 20th century, our government saw that opportunity and saw that importance, and they made it available to, after World War II, the GI Bill made it available for veterans to buy homes with no down payment. And that created the rise of middle-class working families. All of a sudden, renters or those who stayed with relatives now became homeowners. And that changed the whole trajectory of homeownership in the United States. So here's the fact. According to the Federal Reserve, the median homeowner has 40 times more wealth than the median renter. That's not a typo, and I'll say it again. The Federal Reserve states statistically that a homeowner has 40 times more wealth than a renter. 40 times. And that wealth gets passed down to future generations. So let's make this real. Think about grandparents who bought a modest home in the 1950s for $20,000. And over the years, that home appreciated in value. Today, on average, that $20,000 home would be worth $250,000. Now, when that home is passed down to their children, it's not just a house, it's equity that can be borrowed against for tuition, a business, medical expenses. It's stability for the next generation. And when their grandchildren inherit it, that's wealth that keeps on growing. All from one simple decision that one of your family members made to stop renting and start owning. Now, let's contrast that with renting. Families that rent never pass down an asset. They pass down memories, yes, but not wealth. When a renter passes away, the children don't inherit a property. The landlord comes in and says, you need to get the stuff out. They inherit the same cycle of trying to catch up. So this is why so many families get stuck for generations. Renting never gives them the ability to break free. Let's talk about pride and responsibility. There's another layer here. Home ownership changes the way the people see themselves. Studies show that homeowners vote more. They're more active in their communities and their kids do better in school. Why? Because there's stability. A home isn't just a financial asset. It's an emotional anchor. It's a place kids come home to after college. It's where family dinners happen. It's where stories are told. Those intangibles shape up culture within your family for future generations. So now let's go back and talk numbers again. Let's talk about the Census Bureau. The average net worth of a homeowner is around $255,000 compared to $6,000 for renters. That's the gap. That's 40 times more in net worth being a homeowner than a renter. And those numbers prove what families have known for centuries, that owning real estate is one of the surest ways to build wealth. So let me share another story. Let me share something closer to home. I've worked with families who rented for 10, 15, even 20 years, and they thought buying a home was simply out of reach. But when they took that leap, sometimes through a lease-to-own program, or maybe through a zero down loan or down payment assistance or grant program, everything changed. And I remember one buyer telling me, for the first time, I feel like I'm not just surviving, I'm building something that my kids can count on. I'll say that again. A buyer told me for the first time, it felt like they were no longer surviving and they were building something for their family. That's incredible. And you can do the same. So for centuries, property ownership has been the foundation of wealth, stability. Families that buy homes create opportunities that ripple for future generations within their family, and families that rent often stay stuck in the same cycle and they have 40 times less in net worth. So if you buy a home, be a part of that growth, be a part of that generational change. And remember, it's not just a statistic, it's a story waiting for you to write for your family. And as Azcension Homes, we don't just build houses, we help build legacies. We help families step out of renting and into home ownership. We use programs designed to break that cycle, because at the end of the day, a home isn't just where you live, it's where your future begins. So that's your history lessons for today. I hope you are inspired. Thanks for joining me today's episode on the purchase path. And reach out, follow us, like, subscribe, share this with someone who is a renter, who's looking to change, who wants to create a future for their family, and we're here to help you. So we'll get you connected with our lending partners. We'll show you what available programs we have specifically catered to you. And if you're a veteran, working class family, first-time home buyer, whatever your situation is, you're relocating, we are here to help you at Azcension Homes. So again, my name is Des Losberg, and this was The Purchase Path, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. The cost of living has pushed too many families out of the communities they love. They work hard, but still can't afford enough space. Rent keeps rising, and home ownership feels like a distant dream. That's where The Purchase Path comes in. I'm Des Losberg, founder of Azcension Homes, and I retired after 22 years in the lending industry after I kept seeing the same pattern. Good, hardworking families getting locked out, not because they didn't deserve a home, but because no one ever showed them a real way forward. This podcast exists to change that. Here you'll learn about real paths to ownership, like zero down financing options, down payment grants, lease-to-own programs, and financing options that are actually designed for families like yours. This isn't about fluffy dreams or get-rich-quick advice. It's about clarity, options, strategy. So whether you're relocating, renting, or just tired of waiting, you'll get the tools and the truth to move forward one step at a time. Follow The Purchase Path now on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you listen, and start your journey with Azcension Homes. Your path, your purchase, your time.